Hey guys, good evening. I'm here to bring you some important news. This will be a quick video. I'm full of tasks.
I'm here to do it now.
But I really had to bring this news to you. I've seen a lot of people worried about Pedro. There's also news about a signed contract, a closed deal with Taty Castellanos, right? Are we going to talk about that here too? I've already recorded for channels 2 and 3, Paparazzo Moment and Paparazzo Rubro-Negro, right? I can't stress enough how important it is to subscribe to all our channels and follow us on Instagram or X at our Paparazzo Rubro-Negro. We've shared everything on all our social networks. So here I'm going to quickly bring you these 2 or 3 pieces of information now. And right after that, the 2 updates about Vitão and also about Taty Castellanos, right? Well, let's go. About Pedro's issue, I think we should start by sharing this information. I just want to invite you to subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications by clicking the bell, leave a nice like on the video, and it's really important for you to share it too, right? Just a reminder that our sponsors are listed in the pinned comment. And so, do I want to talk about this issue between Pedro and me? Mauro Cesar Pereira said that, according to what he found out, it was Cruzeiro's board, not Mauro Cesar himself. He said that Cruzeiro's board believes that Flamengo wants to sign Kaio Jorge. It's because Flamengo wants to sell Pedro. And then I checked with a source close to the top of Flamengo's board, right? And the top of Flamengo's board told me the following. That at no time did Flamengo think about selling Pedro because Flamengo doesn't want to sell Pedro. Flamengo is not going to put Pedro up for sale. Flamengo has a project that includes Pedro, so Flamengo will do everything to keep Pedro. Unless it's a crazy offer, Flamengo isn't considering selling Pedro. There's nothing about selling him. Flamengo is working on a project, which is BAP's project, and also Felipe's Boto's as well, to have 2 players per position, 2 top players per position. Flamengo wants to have 2 top teams with all players at national team level, okay? So, Flamengo does want to sign Kaio Jorge, but they don't want to sell Pedro. They're putting Cebolinha in, but they could use another player I'll mention now. But that's not the point, guys. The point is that Flamengo will only include in the deal a player that they believe they have many options for in that position, otherwise they won't. If, for example, Felipe doesn't insist on having 3 players for each position, he wants to have 2 top players per position, so if he has 3 players in that position there, which is the case on the left wing, where he has Bruno Henrique, he has Samuel Lino, he has Michael, he has Cebolinha, he might negotiate Michael, and Cebolinha, even though he wants him, he could even keep Cebolinha, but in a situation where he brings in Kaio Jorge, he made Cebolinha available. Plus the 24 million, which makes it 32 million euros. Cruzeiro, according to Raiza Simplicio and Thiago Asmar,
As well.
they brought it up at about the same time. Cruzeiro didn't accept the offer. Pedrinho didn't accept the offer. He wants something more. He won't accept it for 32 million euros. And according to GE, that information we brought, that it could be value in 2 more players. That's crazy. Value in 2 more players. That could happen, okay? According to GE, Pedrinho is even willing to negotiate, but he wants the amount to reach 50 million euros for Kaio Jorge. Even if the deal has to include money. 2 more players, 30 million euros plus 2 more players. It's obvious. The guy has the product that Flamengo wants. He's going to ask for the price he thinks is fair. He's going to charge as much as possible. He's going to try to get as much as he can. It's up to Flamengo to accept it or not, if Flamengo really wants it. The deal has conditions, and he'll include certain players for each position if possible. I saw some people talking about Luis Araujo. What I heard is that Cruzeiro prefers Cebolinha, and Cruzeiro also wanted Luis Araujo recently. But Luis Araujo is not the first option that Flamengo would offer. There are some other positions, some other players that Flamengo might offer before Luis Araujo. Honestly, or the other. I wouldn't trade Cebolinha anymore. But if I had to trade one, I wouldn't trade Luis Araujo. Luis Araujo, for me, is decisive, a player who scores a lot of goals, and we can't mess around. We can't lose Luis Araujo. This is important information for us to share here. For the other 2 that I talked to you about, that we brought earlier on channel 2 and 3, it's important for us to mention here. Here's the thing. Flamengo at this moment, this information just came out as well. Flamengo is working quietly. This information came out on Entertainment and Sports Programming Network that Flamengo is now working quietly. Looking for a striker, an option. Flamengo doesn't want to be dependent. They've already lost Taty Castellanos, which I'm going to talk to you about now. So, Flamengo doesn't want to be dependent only on Kaio Jorge, so Flamengo is working quietly on the name of this striker. That's a wish from Felipe Luis, a striker with more mobility.
Here's some important news from Paparazzo Rubro-Negro, and soon I'll share more big updates on the Paparazzo's Momento channel. Look, Inter might be going through some serious problems right now. In Vitão's sale, a court order might affect International's sale of Vitão. There could be a problem. Even while acknowledging the legitimacy of the debt, International intends to appeal to every possible instance to postpone the payment of about 30 million reais to Showball, Assessoria Esportiva Limitada, an amount from defender Bruno Fuchs's 2020 sale to Central Sports Club of the Army. Given the delicate situation
Financial
of the club, the creditor company took legal action and requested the blocking of revenues from possible negotiations. From players of the current squad, like Vitão and the guy Gustavo Prado and Ricardo Matias, the request is waiting for the court's decision and can be considered at any moment. Internally, the situation is causing concern, especially because of Vitão's high market value. While President Alessandro Barros
Marcelo's downplayed the impact
of the process, stating that it is an institutional obligation, inherited and common in Brazilian soccer. Although the case is already in the enforcement phase and subject to new protective appeals by Inter, Flamengo owed it. Flamengo put the debt in Vitão's situation, right? They thought everything was settled, but there was still the debt with Central Sports Club of the Army, man. Regarding Bruno Fuchs's sale to Central Sports Club of the Army, Central Sports Club of the Army still owes Showboss, the sports agency, for that transfer.
Then,
My friends, what could happen? A good part of Vitão's money might not even be used by Inter, right? Abel Braga and company were there waiting, right, for some money to come in to try to replace Vitão. What a situation for Inter, huh? That's what I always say. It's people wanting to fight for financial fair play, which won't change anything. Flamengo, which has the money to spend, has the right to spend what it earns, right? There's a percentage there that they'll be allowed with financial fair play. There are people trying to attack Flamengo when, in reality, everyone has their own problems, everyone is dirty, it's much worse. For those who aren't doing things right, Flamengo, which is doing things right, has nothing to worry about. That's it, my friends. It's impressive how International is going through tough times. Taty Castellanos, end of the dream. Taty Castellanos has signed with West Ham for 29 million euros. Man, they were saying they wanted 40 million euros. We noted that Flamengo hadn't made an offer yet, and the amount was even lower. So 29 million euros to West Ham. But the point we raised, he didn't want to come to South American football. Taty wanted to stay in Europe at this moment, even with his Brazilian wife and everything. We knew he wanted to remain in Europe. He didn't want to go back to South American football, so his priority was to stay in European football, right? Targeted by Flamengo in recent weeks, the Argentine striker will now be the new signing for West Ham. The English club then reached an agreement with Lazio to buy the player for around 189 million reais with a contract valid for 5 seasons. This confirms the player's move to the Premier League, which was his wish. Unfortunately, Flamengo is still in the market looking for a striker, but this was one of their top priorities. It was him. Kaio Jorge still has Marcos Leonardo, but, signing a good striker in the market is tough. That's why I say Pedro needs to be valued more. It's a shame he's been injured, but Pedro really deserves recognition.